My name is Riley Morton. This is the EXS340 practical final, starting with heart rate. And we'll go over heart rate and what it is, which is basically the amount of times per minute that your heart will beat. You know, it's heart rate, the rate at which your heart pumps per minute, which is in beats per minute. And there are a couple ways to take it, starting with, on my patient here, the radial artery. You would go towards the thumb, locate the pulse using two fingers, your index and your middle finger. Be sure not to use your thumb because this can skew the reading because there is a stronger pulse in your thumb. So using your two pointer fingers, just rest here, get a reading. You're gonna hold there for 1 minute, but in presses of time, you can do it for 15 and multiply by 4, or hold for 30, multiply by 2, as long as it equals 1 minute. And then the second way to measure heart rate will be on the carotid artery, again, using the two index middle fingers. Locate the pulse, just rest the fingers there for 1 minute, or for 15 multiplied by 4, 30 multiplied by 2. And the importance of heart rate is to determine different heart conditions such as bradycardia or tachycardia. And bradycardia would be the slower heart rate. That would be around 40 to 50 beats per minute, which in an untrained regular individual is considered to be bradycardia. And tachycardia would be a faster heart rate, which is anywhere above a resting 80. And that is again for regular untrained individuals. And that would be pretty much it for heart rate. Now, moving on to blood pressure. Basically, what blood pressure is the exertion of pressure against the arterial or venous walls in your blood system. And this can be measured in multiple ways. They all start with a cuff, whether it's on a machine or with a sphygmomanometer and a stethoscope. Both start with a cuff that we will place on our patient. All right. Making sure they're in anatomical position, lining up where it says artery with the brachial artery. Wrapping it snugly around. Is that snug? Yeah. All right. So, in a machine, you would just press a button, this cuff would inflate, and we would get a very accurate blood pressure reading. If this were a sphygmomanometer, you would pump up to about 180 to 200 millimeters of mercury on the dial. And this is because a normal heart rate would be around 120 over 80 or 120 over 70. And you want to ensure that you are cutting off blood flow to get an accurate reading. And once blood flow is cut off, you would place your stethoscope right underneath the cuff, and you would slowly deflate the cuff, and being mindful of which reading you first start to hear a heartbeat. And the first reading that you hear a heartbeat with, that will be the systolic. And then once the heartbeat fades, that's going to be the bottom number, which should be lower, is the diastolic. And get the cuff off. Thank you. A normal blood pressure reading, as stated before, would be about 120 over 80. And anywhere above 130 would just be considered hypertension. So hypertension means it's over the normal, and hypotension would be a systolic anywhere below 100. And both of those are conditions where hypertension is too high, hypotension is too low of a blood pressure. And that's it.